After members of parliament to seek clarification or ask questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, honorable members and chairperson, for this opportunity. I just wanted to find out whether the members have the updated submission that was given on Friday.
Well, we have this one with
all right.
In color.
Okay, thank you very much, Chair. Then I'll take the report as read. I'll be skipping some of the submission.
Okay, no,
thank you very much. We are from the Zambia Qualifications Authority, a statutory body that sits under the Ministry of Education, and our mandate is to develop and implement a national qualifications framework to register and accredit qualifications, and also to ensure that standards and registered qualifications are internationally comparable. So our functions, Chair, are specified in Section 9 of the ZAQUA Act, so I will not go into detail into our functions. I will go to page 4, where we talk about the development and implementation of a national qualifications framework, which we have done. And this framework integrates 3 sub-frameworks. These are the general and further education and training, trades and occupations, and also the higher education sub-framework. And this is also further divided into 10 levels. And these levels are divided by the distinct level descriptors. And the level descriptors specify the knowledge, skills, and competences, and also the attitudes that a holder of that qualification should exhibit at the end of the training. The objects of the bill that you are considering today, Chair, are to continue the existence of the Zambia Qualifications Authority, provide for the development and implementation of a national qualifications framework, provide for the registration and accreditation of qualifications on the national qualifications framework. There is a new addition, which is D, to provide for the verification and evaluation of qualifications, and also it will reconstitute the board of the authority and redefine the functions. It will repeal and replace the ZAQUA Act of 2011 and provide for any other matters that are connected and incidental to the foregoing. Now, on the ramifications of the Zambia Qualifications Authority Bill, Part 1, these are preliminary provisions and provides for the definitions. We've included definitions such as awarding body, recognition of prior learning, which was not in the in the act that we are currently implementing, level descriptors, learner achievement records, and also verification. Further, we have redefined and streamlined some functions to take into account the proposal on the different actors in the qualifications framework implementation. Then Part 2 brings the Zambia Qualifications Authority, and it talks about the governance and the structure of the ZAQUA board and also its functions. So we are proposing a reduction, the bill is proposing a reduction in the number of board members from 11 to 7. This is also taking into account the issues of cost and also best practices in corporate governance. But also there were some members sitting on the board that had a potential conflict of interest in the operations of the authority. These are maybe awarding bodies and also professional bodies. So we've tried to remove those to ensure that there is no potential conflict of interest. The functions of the authority, Chair, we propose an amendment to clause 5.1 on the functions of the authority by the deletion of paragraph 6, which states as follows: the functions of the authority are to register a qualification recommended by an appropriate authority if that qualification meets the relevant criteria. So we are proposing a deletion on that. Chair, may I just consult just a minute?
Yeah, go ahead. I can't see where she is now. Okay.
Apologize for that, Chair. Then we move to
I think you guide us with the page you are and the paragraph. Sometimes we lose you.
Okay, so Chair, I'm on page 5 on the preliminary provisions. Apologize for that, Chair. I think I was reading the old submission.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm now going to part 2 on the Zambia I was on part 2, actually, the Zambia Qualifications Authority. And now we are going to part 3, which is on page 6 on the National Qualifications Framework. Chair, we propose that we continue with this provision in the bill. And it is important that we have a national qualifications framework as Zambia because this is where the world is now moving to. A number of regional frameworks have been developed, and the Zambia has to align to these regional frameworks, and these are the SADC qualifications framework and also the African Continental Qualifications Framework. So it is important to have a national qualifications framework because it provides for progression. It clearly specifies how an individual should progress from one level of a qualification to another, and also it provides for mobility of learners across the globe. It also allows for quality in the qualifications that are issued because they will be quality assured by the Zambia Qualifications Framework. Chair, we note that despite the bill defining the appropriate authority to mean an authority having responsibility of a sub-framework of a national qualifications framework, Part 3 of the bill does not identify the appropriate authorities that will have the responsibility over the respective sub-frameworks. So we are proposing an insertion of a new clause, and this will be inserted as clause 20, 2 in brackets, to read as follows. The appropriate authorities having responsibility for managing the sub-frameworks are as follows. General education, this will be the standards department under the Ministry of Education. Trades and occupations, this will be the technical education, vocation and entrepreneurship training authority, and higher education will be under the higher education authority. The other clauses on 20 will be renumbered after that. Then, Chair, it is important to note that TVETA has dual responsibility. It is recognized as an awarding body and also a regulator. So our recognition of TVETA in this respect under Part 3 will be in relation to it being a regulator of qualifications under the Trades and Occupations sub-framework. Then we move to Part 4, which is registration and accreditation of qualifications. So, Chair, the registration of and accreditation of qualifications, as I mentioned, ensures that there is quality in the qualifications that are issued in the country. I'm sure you've noted the complaints about the downgrading of Zambian qualifications. Those qualifications are not yet sitting on our framework. So it brings issues of, when outsiders do not see these qualifications on our framework, then there are concerns about the quality of the qualifications. So we have to ensure that all qualifications in the country are registered by the Zambia Qualifications Authority. Then we go to Part 5, which talks about verification and evaluation of qualifications. Chair, we are proposing this as a new, this is a new addition in the bill. It wasn't in our previous act, and we are supporting this inclusion, Chair, because this will help us to stamp out fraudulent qualifications in the country. Chair, they are conventions that Zambia has ratified. The Addis Convention is one of them, and these talk about issues to do with the verifications of qualifications and also learner records being kept in a central place. So by learner records being kept in a central place, it helps us with the verification of qualifications in the country. Chair, I think there's a proposal for qualifications verification to be mandatory for qualification for anyone to serve in a state-owned institution, or for anyone to be enrolled in a higher education institution or an institution under the TVET Act. So that is supported, Chair. This will help in ensuring that only persons that have the relevant qualifications are recruited in the positions, and also to ensure that those that seek further education, higher education, have the relevant qualifications to pursue further education. We've seen, Chair, that some people have sought employment and have been employed with the maybe fraudulent qualification. You find that maybe the grade 12 was forged, but they went to university and with that forged qualification, and they were enrolled. So we want to try to avoid that and ensure that only the people with the relevant qualifications are employed in these institutions, and also enrolled in the institutions of learning. Chair, I will move to just make a submission briefly on the submission of learner achievement records, which we are supporting, Chair. Which states this is sitting under Section 5.1 of the bill, which mandates the Zambia Qualifications Authority to establish and maintain a database of learner achievements in Zambia. Chair, I think there's been a lot of debate with other stakeholders on this, and last time our bill, I think, was deferred because of this issue, and we went back and consulted with stakeholders, and we came back with this, and also the issue of verification of qualifications by the Zambia Qualifications Authority. The two issues were the issues of contention in the last bill. So we consulted stakeholders on these matters, Chair, and also looking at what is happening globally and also regionally, Chair. This is where we are trying to move to, because as Zambia, Chair, we are a member of SADC. We are also a member of the African Continental Qualifications Framework, which was recently launched, and these specify that member states have to have databases. Actually, we are in discussion with the African Continental Qualifications Framework, who want to help us develop these databases. So this is to help us with mobility of learners. These frameworks have been developed to help with the mobility of learners within the member state countries. Chair, also to mention that when you cross the borders, the only verification that is going to be recognized is the ZAQUA verification. Any other institution can do their own verification, but that is only recognized within the country. The moment you cross borders, that is not recognized. They will still get back to us to do a verification. So we issue certificates as ZAQUA when we do verification, and this is an example of a certificate that we issue. It has a barcode there. So once somebody crosses,
may you pass it over so that it can have a look at it?
So once somebody crosses the borders with that verification, the other our verification agencies, the other qualifications authority, all they have to do is verify that through that barcode. So we are proposing that we continue with this proposal of verifying qualifications as ZAQUA, the central place for verifying qualifications. So the advantages of having a database is that we will be able to have a quick turnaround time on doing the verifications, especially the local ones. And it's even been proved now. We have records that are sitting with us for most of these awarding bodies, except a few that we still have challenges with. And verification have been able to be done within 2 to 3 days for local qualifications. So that will help us with the turnaround time. Chair, I will move, I won't dwell so much on the countries that have implemented this. Chair, the example is South Africa, Namibia, Kenya, Botswana, Eswatini, Lesotho are also going through that route. And to note that some of these countries, we trained them ourselves, but they've gone way ahead of us. It is saddening, Chair. So we need to make progress on this matter. Then we'll move, Chair, to part 5, which is on page 9, where, Chair, we are proposing to create an inspectorate unit as the Zambia Qualifications Authority. This will help us, Chair, in ensuring adherence to the provisions of this Act, especially on the registration and accreditation of qualifications. We've had, this has been quite slow with the universities, Chair, and also the TVETA. You will note, Chair, that out of a possible more than 2,000 qualifications that are out there, we've only registered about 604 qualifications to date. So we want to make it mandatory and ensure that there are sanctions if these qualifications are not registered with the Zambia Qualifications Authority. Chair, just recently to mention to the committee that we've had complaints from the region here about some qualifications that have crossed borders and are not sitting on our qualifications framework. So the holders of those qualifications, Chair, have been disadvantaged in that they can't access further education and employment because they can't recognize the qualifications as long as they are not sitting with us. So we want to create an inspectorate unit to ensure compliance to the provisions of this Act, and also to ensure compliance in the verification and evaluation of qualifications by the employers and also the employees. So there's a provision that we've proposed to be included there as clause 33 of the bill. Chair, part 6 is on the financial provisions of the authority. And Chair, on the financial provisions, we are just happy that these are in line with the Public Finance Management Act of 2018, and we have no issues with the provisions that have been put there. Then part 7 is on general provisions, Chair, and this includes standard setting, appeals procedures, offenses, regulations, and the SIs which may be put in place by the minister to help in carrying them out this Act. And also contains the standard operating provisions which were not in the previous Act, Chair. However, we propose an amendment to clause 44 to provide a procedure for deregistration of a qualification and revocation of a certificate of verification. And we propose that should be included as 44.2 E and F, and they will read as follows: the deregistration of a qualification that is registered under this Act, and F will be the revocation of a certificate of verification of evaluation issued under this Act. Then 3.8 is on the schedule to the bill. Talks about the savings and the transitional provisions. Chair, these include the board members that will hold office for a period of 6 months until a new board is put in place by the minister in line with the Act, the new Act, and also the employees of the authority that they will continue in employment, and also transfers the assets and liabilities of the authority to the new ZACWA that will be established under this Act. So in conclusion, Chair, we propose that you support this bill, Chair, and we also support it in that it will promote quality in the education, training and employment in Zambia, and that the development of a national qualifications framework and the verification of qualifications and also registration and accreditation of qualifications gives confidence to stakeholders that our qualifications actually meet the standards that have been set by the authority. Chair, with this I will submit to the committee.
Thank you very much. Members of Parliament, you may now seek clarifications or ask questions. Thank you. Yes, Honorable Mutu.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. I have a number of concerns, but I will not raise them all. It's written, it is stated here that ZACWA has been in operation since 2014. So my question now is the verification of qualification. Reading through, there is no discrimination. I don't see any boundary as to which qualification should not be verified by ZACWA. It is not categorical, it is wholesome, meaning all qualifications. Now, there are areas like where I live. From here to Karabo is 900 kilometers. There are people there whose qualifications has to be verified by ZACWA. And you know, economically, we are not well empowered. So according to this Act, the bill which is to form the Act, it will be mandatory for those residents in Karabo to have their qualifications verified by ZACWA. Now the question is, where is this ZACWA office? The answer is in Lusaka. They have to travel 900 plus kilometers to Lusaka to have the qualification verified. How covered is ZACWA in this country to help these people who have to get their qualifications verified? Is ZACWA not seeing us going back to where we came from, where people from Karabo used to come to Lusaka to have their qualifications or their papers verified at ECZ? There at Woodlands, they would queue there for days and weeks. I think it is clear from there. what effort, so that these Zambians will not suffer again, like they suffered, sleeping in queues. Thank you, Honorable.
Thank you very much. Any other questions again, members? I think you are noting the questions. Yes, Honorable Chang.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. I think two questions. The first question first. Thank you very much for your presentation to the committee. The first question is looking at the seal or the barcode. I just want to learn how secure the barcode is as regards to the verification of qualifications. How secured is it? Is it not prone to manipulation or maybe just manipulation? Then the second one, Honorable Chairperson, is to do with because at the moment we have the current act, and the current act is going through this process, and that's why we are meeting today. I think talking from reflecting back and talking from experience, we've had a lot of laws, even acts. You find that you review and you just review, maybe just after 3-4 months or after 90 days, you'd find that stakeholders will come back again, that or maybe there's something that is missing. A very good example that I can cite, it is the Children's Code Act or law at the moment. It was reviewed just recently, but already stakeholders are saying that there are lapses. So through the chairperson, I want to find out from you, are you very, very sure that after this process that we are sitting here for today, after this process, maybe after 90 days or after just 6 months, stakeholders, including yourselves, you will come back to say, see, there are these lapses. Because you see, the process that we are undertaking, it costs not only money, but also time. I submit to Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you very much. You can take another one. Maybe your mic there. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, witness, for your submission. I take you on page. Is it 11?
Page?
Page 11, where you are talking about the deregistration of qualification.
Honorable Daka, be closer to the mic.
Okay. Where you are talking about the deregistration of a qualification that is registered under the Act. I wanted to learn more. Which qualification is this? Is it the one that is obtained when you have already enrolled in a program and you have gotten maybe a degree, or it is a certificate that is making you to enroll into maybe into tertiary? I wanted to understand on this one. Which qualification is this that you want to deregister? And then again, I have seen on page on page 7, part 5, verification and evaluation of qualification. You are saying this part also make it mandatory for people seeking employment in a state organization or state institution. Now, we are just talking about state. What of private? Because there are schools that are private owned. Is this law trying to segregate that you just deal with the public, you will not do with the private one? Chair, I submit.
Thank you very much. I think you may answer the questions now, the concerns and questions.
Thank you very much, Chair. Some I will be assisted by the team that is here.
That's fine.
Yes, on the verification of qualifications, there is no distinction about which qualifications will be verified by ZACWA. It means all qualifications have to be verified by ZACWA, because ZACWA is the only institution that is recognized out there as the verification agency for the country, and it's the only one with the mandate to verify qualifications. Then on the verification of qualifications by individuals in far-flung areas, Chair, we, in line with the government mandate on e-government, we have we've gone digital. And I'm sure you are going to say that no, our people don't have computers and all that. So our services can be accessed on a mobile phone. As long as you have internet, yes, you can access our services on a mobile phone, and payment can also be made using mobile money payment options. So we are trying to improve our system to ensure that everyone is able to use it.
Is that system already there now?
Yes, the system is operational, Chair. We are not manual. We went digital during the period of COVID, so our system is accessible online. Then, Chair, on the
so
issue...
it still has maybe a follow-up question just before leaving.
All right. Okay, thank you,
Thank
Chair.
you, Honorable Chairperson. I think you'll forgive me. Let us have a map of Zambia. You know, let us not make things from the submission. I'm feeling very bad. If I was to go with you today to Karao, you would see that your weights are not working there. You're talking of phones. Surely, should we make a law basing on a phone? The connectivity level in Zambia, if you are to give me the percentage of coverage and the law that we are making. So you want me to subscribe to a law that I know is going to be inapplicable to my people in Karao? Maybe another vision. Honorable Chair, I'm not comfortable with the response of basing this law on a phone. This vis-a-vis Karao. The rural part, the distant, those which are not urban.
So in short, Madam Chair, sorry, the CEO, are there any plans maybe to have just some offices in the headquarters of the provinces? Just to
Thank you, CEO, and thank you, Honorable Chair. Chair, what the CEO is putting on the table is what currently is available to try and ensure that our work is accessed by each and every citizen, regardless of where they are on the globe at the moment. The progress by the country, we are happy and alive. We follow the debates in Parliament, and that the ZICTA and the other government agencies are working around the clock to ensure that our country becomes 98% coverage, and we are hopeful that different gadgets can be used. Yes, is there a need that we may be looking at devolving our role as an authority? Definitely, when that time comes, Chair, and we are hoping that the committee will support the devolution of resources that will enable us establish offices across provinces. We are more than ready to go that way. But always when we put across such requests, I think it's the resource envelope that our country currently is facing. But as a way of making services accessible, I think the ICTCs currently are the way forward, and wow, over that is what is working. Thank you, Chair.
Can you go ahead, answer the questions?
Thank you very much, Chair. There was a question on how secure our barcode is, this one. Chair, just to mention that we had instances where our manual certificate was forged. So going this route, this is very secure, Chair. It cannot be forged because when somebody is doing the verification, it actually takes them to our system. So they will be able to access our system in real time. So there are some security features that we've put in there. It will show the exact time and it will download the actual certificate as it is sitting on our system. So you are able to verify that if you have a barcode reader, it will go to our system and just download the certificate as it is sitting on our system.
Yeah, but just on that one, I think I did designing. Your design is not properly done. It's too first of all, it's too congested. Yeah, you still need really to look at your design so that you shouldn't rely only on the barcode, so that it's a bit difficult to duplicate or to make another one. It's too simple and not well balanced also. Yeah, too congested also. You should carry all the information, but you can make it lighter, and I think the design should look at it still more, in my view. Yeah, just take a lot of time to make a proper design. Also, the barcode is a must because that's what, you know, that's what will lead to verification. Yeah, but still more the design, I think it needs to improve. Thank you.
Chair, there was a comment about whether we are sure about this bill and whether we won't come back or there will be stakeholders coming back saying that we need to amend again. Chair, there's been extensive consultation on this, and through the implementation of the current Act, Chair, the proposals that we are making here, the amendments, are what we've noted that have been a thorny issue in the implementation of our mandate. So we are trying to rectify what we identified in the implementation of the current Act. So we hope that there won't be any coming back to your committee, and we acknowledge that there are expenses that are involved in doing so. Chair, on the deregistration of a qualification.
Just on that one, because here this you have proposed inspectorate, isn't it? Yes. Unit, was it there at the initial when you submitted?
In the initial one, it was not there.
Yeah, because, and that was his concern, the watcher member, because now you have come with this, but we need to get the views of other people as well, because ours is to receive. We are not the ones submitting, but we want to hear from many witnesses so that it's clear. Now you are coming at the end, and you make this. We're not going to ask anybody else. Maybe we want to ask another witness we have today, but those previous ones we didn't ask them about this for us to get their opinion. So that's why it says there's a serious need that when we do something, it's really comprehensively done. So like on this one, I'm not saying it's a bad idea, no, that's not my job, but I'm saying would have also loved other people to comment on it so that we get the views of all the stakeholders. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. I think this one, we sat at the end and we realized that it would be hard for us to implement this Act without this inspectorate unit. So we apologize for that, Chair. But on the deregistration of a qualification, I think I'll ask Mr. Jello to respond to that.
Thank you, CEO, and thank you, Chair, for this opportunity. The qualification referred to here is a qualification that is submitted by an awarding body to sit on our qualification framework. Now, each of these qualifications that sit on the qualification framework, there are conditionalities that they need to satisfy for them to remain on the framework. And if any of those qualifications as they are being implemented by the awarding bodies fail to meet certain conditionalities, it means the authority must be at liberty to deregister that particular qualification to safeguard the interest of the learners and the country. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Through the CEO. So the provision that was referred to on page 11, the provision that was referred to on page 11 makes reference to the need to empower the minister to issue regulations to regulate the deregistration of a qualification that is registered under the Act. So the bill already has a provision on deregistration of a qualification, but it doesn't provide the procedure on how this deregistration will be effected and the need to give the other party an opportunity to be heard before a qualification is registered. So the purpose of the proposal to insert these provisions is to set out a procedure that the authority will follow to deregister a qualification, including giving the affected person an opportunity to be heard before a decision is taken by the authority. I submit, Chair. Thank you.
Yeah, still on that, that's a very sensitive issue that witnesses were very concerned, especially also when it comes to punishment. Now, we have had in Zambia, I don't know who issues the licenses. I don't know whether it's the Higher Education Authority for these universities. They issued so many licenses. Some, if I'm to exaggerate us, even on the trees. I was in the Education Committee from 2016. We went to Livingstone. We found one university where there was only one lecturer. He was everything. Literally nothing that was there. And it was a registered university. We found another one where beliefs were just total confusion. There was one in Chom which kept on changing names. Now, where the problem is the registering authority. They give a license with somebody that has nothing. Because when you're giving a license, there are conditions. You must have so many this, you must have so many this, you must have so many this. And this person does not have, but is given a license. The university opens, and then you make the learners victims. And the one who issued the license is not punished. But we rush to revoking the register. But who then, in my question, how about the person who issued the license to people who are not compliant to the requirements of the license? What do you do to those people?
Chair, in response to that, the problem is we have different mandates with the other appropriate authorities. So it is difficult for us to go into what the other appropriate authority is doing. So the only thing that we do as ZACWA is that we are required to conduct audits of these appropriate authorities just to see whether they are adhering to their mandate. And whatever findings we come up across, there are no sanctions. So all we do is recommend to them that they need to improve in this area, and also we will submit that report to the ministry for them to be able to see what is going on and see if they can take action. So really we cannot go deep into the mandates of the appropriate authorities. Maybe Mr. Jeda, you want to add? Okay.
Chair, I just want to add that when we are doing the compliance audits, we are able to come across some of these challenges that our colleagues who are registering institutions have, and we actually highlight this to the ministry that they're responsible, or maybe are supposed to give feedback to indicate to them the fact that certain things haven't been well attended to in terms of registration, in terms of the quality of training, so that those ministries can at least either provide resources or maybe provide measures that they can improve. And the thing also of this proposal is trying to do, Chair, is trying to safeguard the same learners that are being registered by these institutions. You find that an appropriate authority who is registering an institution may have overlooked certain parameters, but when we are now looking at the process of registering qualifications, we are looking at the quality surrounding the training process to ensure that a learner will have
the appropriate skills at the end of the day. So when we see that there are mistakes that have been made, we're able to correct that matter by, for instance, deregistering a qualification that was on the framework, so that that institution can now see the need to correct the mistakes and put quality that is required, and they can return back that qualification when they have dealt with the issues that we raised upon the deregistration.
Yeah.
My submission.
Yeah,
Chair.
but this is where we represent people. And we are looking at when we deregister, these people who were there are extremely inconvenienced. And then the real culprit who give licenses to universities that don't qualify. For instance, if I am owning a school, for me to get an examination number to be a center number, I must have a certain number of desks. So you imagine now, the DEBS there recommends that desks are there and they are not there. Okay? This is that issues me a license. That my school is now a center number. And there are no desks. The exam time comes, the exam does not take place because not compliant. The learners are inconvenienced. My point I'm trying to say, I think we need to look as we are making this law. I don't know how we can do it, but we need to look at also that these people who are issuing licenses, issue licenses correctly. Because some universities that were given, just one house, university of what? You know? Like the one that was in Choma, like the one we went to see. One lecturer, no buildings, no what. But it's a university operating. Where were the inspectors? And then you go and deregister, but it had students, and these students go on suffering. I think this is what I'm trying to say. You really need to look at this in all angles, so that we reduce such. We should be giving universities that qualify. If a university qualifies, I don't see why it should be deregistered. If the license that is given is genuinely done, if they went there, inspected, and approved that this is what is there, that shouldn't happen.
Chair, just to add on to your comment, okay. I'm sure you will receive submissions where others will say that no, it's a duplication. What ZACWA is doing is duplicating what the other appropriate authority is doing. Actually, it is just to strengthen the quality assurance mechanisms in place in education. So that when we are doing the registration of qualifications, we actually look into some of these issues to ensure that these appropriate authorities haven't missed these issues. So this is a way in registering qualifications that we are strengthening the quality assurance mechanisms, and that is why we want to ensure that it is strengthened in this bill, in the bill, so that we are able to do our work as ZACWA.
Okay.
Thank you. Chair, there was a last question that I would like Mr. Jello to respond to on the verification of qualifications by state organs. Yeah.
Thank you, CEO. I think, Chair, thanks for this opportunity again. I had the privilege last week of appearing before the committee again in the company of the PS, and we were ably guided by this committee that indeed we needed to include not only state organs, but rather the clause should be expanded to include each and every employer in the country. I think the legal counsel was in that team, and we will address that. Thank you, honorable member, for reminding us again around that issue. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Twambo, you have a question, then we can come to yes. Honorable. We can't hear him. Right? Honorable Twambo, we can't hear you. Yeah, unmute yourself. We can't hear you. Honorable Twambo, we can't hear you. Unmute yourself. You can't unmute him or no? Okay, we are unable to get you, Honorable Twam, so let's go ahead. Yes, Honorable Song, go ahead, please.
Chair, thank you. And again, sorry for coming in late. I've read the submission from the witnesses. I just have a few concerns I think I would like to get clarity on. The first one is on point 3.2, I think in page 5, which speaks to the governance of ZACWA under the new regime. You have uploaded the idea of reducing the number of board members from 11 to 7. I want to find out from ZACWA what informed your decision to upload the reduction of members. I ask this question because having read through this bill, it seeks to increase and make more onerous the obligations of ZACA in the new framework of qualifications. And my thinking is that in keeping with good corporate governance, I was even expecting an expanded board, but there's a reduction of the number of board members. I wanted to just to share with the committee why you think this is a good initiative. I then take you to page 8. I think you also spoke about issues to do with ZACWA or Zambia being part of the SADC and African Union, where we expect to align our qualifications framework with the SADC and the ones of the continental body. I have a question around those issues. How is it hoped to treat verified qualification of citizens of the other countries that seek employment in our country? An example, I think you've mentioned a number of countries that have a verification framework of Namibia, Kenya, and I think Ireland. I won't concern myself with Ireland, but Namibia, Kenya. For instance, if a citizen from Namibia comes to Zambia looking for employment and presents qualifications that were verified by an equivalent of ZACWA in Namibia or Kenya, is it expected under the new regime that we will still have to go through a full verification here, or you just certify the verification that took place for this particular individual in the country where they originate from? Because I take the view that in doing this verification there will be a cost consideration for the individual that is coming. So I'm thinking I'm seeing a dual expense on that individual. And finally, I think this question, for me, it arose from the deliberations we've had with Chair on your proposal to include additional clauses or sections. The one you propose on 351 is very progressive. But like the Chair said, it ought to have come before the other witnesses appeared before this committee. So my question really, with these good ideas, is how much consultation took place between yourselves and the sponsoring ministry before this came to the committee for consideration? Because I think if you had interacted with the sponsoring ministry, you would have had an opportunity of introducing these progressive provisions in the new legislation. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Members, any more questions? Honorable Mutu.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Another concern is on the duplication. How quick will it be eliminated? That is the, I'm still on verification. I'm sure you are aware of ECZ, the Examinations Council of Zambia. It is equally mandated to verify. Here is ZACWA, again mandated to verify. Same client. This client pays ECZ verification. This client pays ZACWA verification. When will this duplication be eliminated? To lighten the burden on the clients whose qualifications have to be verified. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Yeah, yes, Honorable. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Just in addition to Honorable Miyutu's question on duplication, there have also been some, when you reflect on the duplication, there have also been some suggestions or maybe some recommendations because of the same duplications, looking at the roles, objectives of our education authority and also Zambia Qualifications Authority. That is serious duplication. What of if there was a proposal to merge them? I submit, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you very much. Yeah, just quick one. We have run out of time, Honorable. Jury, go ahead.
It's a quick one. I just want to know how you intend to deal with grade 12 results as regards to maintaining a database on learners' achievements, because the ECZ Act does not empower ECZ to release grade 12 results to third parties. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's one a very critical one. Then also you have given 60 days in which these people should hand in. ECZ said when the results come out, the candidates are given 4 months in which if they want to appeal. And 4 months is more than 60 days. What are you doing to harmonize that? Then there has also been an outcry from awarding bodies that at least in your board lineup, they should have one representative to also take their views. What's your comment? I would like to hear your comment on that. And then lastly, your template, you are asking these people to give information. Did you do it alone or you consulted widely? How comprehensive is it? Thank you. I think the answer should be short. We have run out of time now. Thank you. Yes, please.
Thank you very much, Chair. On the reduction of the board, Chair, actually this was a guidance from Cabinet that boards have to be lean now to make them more efficient. And also it was a way of reducing the cost. I think there were huge costs associated with board because first you have to train them and then the sitting allowances and all that. So this was a guidance from Cabinet.
But in that 7, can't they have room? I'm talking of all the awarding bodies just having 1 member. They have been crying. Is it feasible or you think it's not necessary to have them?
Chair, actually in the current act, there are 2 seats for awarding bodies. There's a representative from a public awarding body university and a private university. But the challenge that we've had is that the same board considered the qualifications for these awarding bodies. So there's that conflict of interest. That is why we wanted to remove these bodies from sitting on our board. I can proceed, Chair.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Then on the verification of qualifications from other countries, Chair, where there's a qualifications authority and they are doing verification of qualifications, we recognize each other's certificates. So we just have to verify with the certificate from the awarding body. So we won't have to do the complete verification also of going to the awarding body and all that. So we recognize each other's certificates, Chair. Then on proposal to include new proposals, whether these were consulted. Chair, we did not do extensive consultation, but we consulted our ministry and also the Ministry of Justice, and they said yes, this was a major omission that needed to be included. So that is why we are bringing the proposal to you today. Chair, on the duplication with the Examinations Council of Zambia, Chair, if you look at the ECZ Act, you will not find a clause which says that they are mandated to verify qualifications. It's just that they've been doing that for a long time, even before ZACWA was created, and it's been a challenge for them to let go.
But they read one on the storage of records, that they can't give a third party. That one they read the Act here. So there's a duplication.
Yeah.
And what we want to do ourselves, we don't want a duplication to be there. That's our role.
Yeah.
Because if the Act does not allow them to give a third part and that information, you need it, then you are stuck.
Yeah.
That Act, they read it when they were here. I don't know about for the verification, but the one for releasing information, they do have that, they can't give a third part. The Act is there.
Yes, Chair, the one I'm talking about is on the verification of qualifications. I think on the release of information, our legal counsel will come in on that. So there is no duplication on the verification of qualifications.
No, that one I've explained.
Yes.
But the one, the article they read here, you need information.
Yes,
also
we need information.
for your data. Yes.
Yes, I think.
And they said there, they read an act that does not allow them to hand over that information.
The Data Protection Act?
Oh, yeah, he read it, but we realized there was a duplication, and we want to make things better for you. So that's sometimes to say, are you aware from the legal point of view?
Yes, Chair.
Thank you so much, Chair. So I think the act that was referred to was the Data Protection Act, because some of the information they are required to share with the agency includes the personal details of the learners. And the Data Protection Act provides that you cannot share personal information without the consent of the subject. But the Data Protection Act also has got exceptions. It allows the data controllers, in this case ECZ is a data controller, and ZACO also is a data controller. So the Data Protection Act allows exceptions where a data controller can share information if it is a requirement of a law to which they are subject. Now, if you notice in the ZACO Act, there's a provision that requires appropriate authorities to share learner achievement records with ZACO. That requirement is already there in the current Act, that they are supposed to share, or that ZACO is supposed to develop a database of learner achievement records. But we've gone further in the bill, and we are proposing that there should be a requirement that appropriate authorities should submit learner achievement records within 90 days of qualification being conferred. So the moment that the graduation takes place and qualifications are conferred, within 90 days they are required to submit learner achievement records to ZACO for us to develop the database that we are mandated to develop under the Act. The only hindrance that appropriate authorities might say would prevent them from submitting learner achievement records is the Data Protection Act. But even that one has got exemptions, and that one can be addressed with the Data Protection Commissioner as well as with the appropriate authorities. I submit, Chair.
Yeah, but you see, when that was read to rush, because the law must be very clear. We don't need to go to court every time for interpretation for an act. It must be straightforward. And we notice there is a crash and want to remove it so that you, as ZACO, we don't need to bring a big doctor to come and explain a law that is meant for us. What we noticed there was a crash. And if ZACO is telling us, no, that is fine, then that's your own. So don't come to us when again you begin to argue over such. Because people come and go, institutions remain. So that act has to be clear to the clients. And who are the clients? Us. Not everyone else is a lawyer. Yeah, so you can't only lean on one small opponent. It's just be straightforward. So as we noticed there was a crash, I think, Honorable Daka.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Thank you, witness, for your quick answers. I have a follow-up on the period that you have just alluded to say you need those submission within 90 days after the graduation. But other witnesses have also had consent, saying the 90 days is not enough because, like for ECZ, they will need, is it 6 months, for them to do maybe a remark, missing results. So they complain to say the 90 days is not enough for them to release the information for the learners. Chair, I submit.
Thank you. Yeah, I think on that one is very cardinal here, because if you are saying you count after, so my son completes today, my results come out today, and 4 months he is waiting, then you bring another 3 months, that's a year he should be at home to wait for ZACO to give you the what? That brings a complication. So that's what I'm trying to say. I think your time frame, I think here you discuss, we need, the most clients complained about the time frame being less, but ECZ is your major stakeholder. It's got grade 7, the whole country, grade 12, grade 9. So I think there is need here to strike a compromise. Either they reduce the number of months which they give learners to appeal if they're not satisfied with the results or something. But really, when you add 4 months plus 3 months, that's 7, almost a year. So I want to hear your reaction before I come to Honorable Mzingiri.
Chair, 90 days is in an effort to streamline and ensure efficiency for our country.
Yeah.
In other countries, these things happen seamlessly. Why should we perpetually disadvantage our citizens? And I think it's a clarion call for ECZ then to put their house in order and be efficient. Why should we go for 6 months clearing and in the name of cleaning records? And that's the reason why we end up having questionable results at the end of the day, because you give the room for officers to start fidgeting with the results. Let's streamline these issues. I've worked in the examination processes myself personally for 10 years, and I managed an examination process for 12 years. So I understand these things. Thank you.
I'm saying there is a problem here. So it's not a question of saying this is what is supposed to happen when it's not happening. We said, this client said, they take 4 months. So there's a need for them. I don't know what makes them take 4 months. Whether it's a law, there is need for them to reduce the number. Are you with me here? So that when all these results you ask, there is no excuse. Because I talked about efficiency and capacity. What is put down must be followed. And that's what I'm trying to say. Whether you are sitting with them or what you're going to do, but as of now, they have law, I don't know whether it's a law, where they take 4 months for people to appeal those results. That is too long. And then again, if you are saying you consider results after that period, then again you add another 90 days. That's too long. It's Honorable Mzingiri. Sorry, no, let me finish. You are part of this bill, so you are part of the architects of this bill. So you ask a question and clarification. Don't answer on their behalf. Thank you very much.
Chair, in order to tag a member of parliament,
You know,
who has the right to ask and make a comment.
Ask a question.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Chair.
you. Yes.
Yes. Chair, I think certain things must be known. When we play with semantics, it's not right. We are dealing with national matters. How can it take 6 months to do examinations and do the cleaning up? You are all aware that after grade 12, they've written in December. Results come in January. And those results must be given to, according to this bill, must be given to ZACWA. If there is any cleaning process, those are things that will come later. Are we saying the whole process takes 6 months and then you release the results? That's not the truth. So basically,
Are you answering or asking a question?
No, Chair. I think allow the member of parliament. Don't be seen to be impartial because you want a certain position to go. So allow me. My question is, having clarified that 90 days, which is appropriate, not the 6 months, because we get results soon after their result, they're out, and the example must be given. Having said that, the issue of conflict, we dealt with those that were in that examination, the last bill, when this bill was referred to. We were ably guided by Minister of Justice, and even our permanent witness, except that he was a bit suppressed when he was submitting. There is no conflict on the way that ECZ must submit learner records. He can testify to that. But it's just, you know, when you want not to comply, you don't want to comply, even when there's no impediment. So there's no provision. Even the provision that was read, our own permanent witness clarified in this meeting. What's your question now? My question is, ZACWA, do you see any conflict of interest between conflict between yourselves and ECZ, in as far as learner records are concerned, because by this bill, appropriate authorities, not only this is that many other must comply with this bill. Do you see any conflicting laws in your bill and ECZ Act?
Yeah, I think we have run out of time. I'm almost, yes. Yes, your quick one, I think.
My question was not responded to.
Yes.
The merging of Higher Education Authority and ZACWA.
I think we can start with the merging, yes.
Thank you very much, Chair. I think that issue of merging was there a few years ago. And if you look at the region, those countries where they have one institution looking at both roles for ZACWA and HEA, you find that now they are coming to learn from us on how to separate the roles. We have actually requests from Zimbabwe now. They want to implement the qualifications framework and the qualifications authority, and also there's the one looking at higher education. Okay. So it's usually a challenge when we put them together. Okay. So I don't think merging them would be the right way to go. I think we had this discussion a long time ago as stakeholders, and the final decision was that we...
Yes, I'm run out of time.
Okay.
Is adequate, yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Jelo, maybe you can respond on the conflict of interest by Mr. Simuzingire.
Thank you, Chair. In under 1 minute, there is no conflict.
Your mic?
There is no conflict whatsoever, and where we agree to say we will collaborate in this regard is because when you look at the school system and certification, ZACWA's mandate is on verifying and evaluating qualifications at that level. ECZ can go deeper if it is a foreign qualification in the school system to interpret the grades, which ZACWA does not do. Ours is to verify the authenticity and evaluate and determine the level at which it can be recognized in Zambia. But ECZ will go to interpret. If the grade is A, B, C, then we'll convert it whether it's a merit or it's satisfactory in the Zambian sense. That is their role, not to evaluate qualifications. I submit, Chair. Thank you.
Yeah, but some of the things I got a bit scared that were mentioned as we wind up. Like saying, once the results for grade 7 are out, we don't give that period, ZACWA gets them. Then my son comes, you give a certificate. Then the results change afterwards. That's very dangerous. Yeah, that is not what's supposed to happen. What ZACWA gives must be 100% accurate. Once ZACWA, because if ZACWA will give a certificate, this is a true whatever, and then later on it changes, that's very dangerous to the institution. Yeah, so you must make sure those are done appropriately. On the period, you have not really fully answered me here, but that's the issue also that you should look at. If you are saying there is no crash, that's your own problem. We are lawmakers. Because if we say a crash, we want yours to move smoothly. And the results, because there was a case here where ECZ came, where you classified the O-level certificate as a diploma. That should not happen. Yeah, that should not happen. And like the idea of saying, no, once the results are out, just hand them in. And then people are still claiming to certify the results. And then ZACWA gives, these are correct results. Then later on the results change. That should not happen. Thank you very much for coming. I wish we had more time, but we should have stopped at 10:30. Now it's 11 o'clock. We wish you all the best in your future endeavors in this ZACWA. Thank you very much. Now that we have now to come to the end, I will now remove the immunity. Thank you. Yeah.
And just thank you, honorable members, for the wonderful debate. It's always good to hear.